Now there's nothing better than on a cold and rainy day like today than to be in the greenhouse with a cup of tea. And one of the tasks I'm doing today is sowing my sweet peas. Now you can sow sweet peas between October to March, but I prefer to do them in the autumn and then overwinter them in the cold frame, because you do get flowers a bit sooner than if you did them in the spring. And one of the first things, the casing of a sweet pea is so hard that sometimes you need to give it a bit of help in order to just crack that seal to make it easier for the seedling to pop out. And I like to soak mine, so these have been in this jar of just tap water for 24 hours, and that will just swell them up and just slightly make the skins a bit more fragile for the seedling to get out. Now one of the seeds is floating on top, which says to me that that seed is dead, so I'm not going to use that. I'm going to throw that out. But in order to grow them, I put them into these deep pots, because sweet peas, a bit like runner beans, their roots like to have a nice long system. So I use these root trainers, and you put all the soil in, which I'll do in a moment, and you get a really good cone of root. And then when it comes time to put them outside, you just prise that apart and lift the entire plant out. But let's start sowing. You get this frame when you order these root trainers, and as long as you're gentle with them, they will last you a few years. I've had one set where I had it for at least 3.5 years before it started breaking, so they are worth the money. Now if you're going to buy these root trainers, when you fill them with soil, put your fingers in, get it really into all the nooks and crannies. And the compost that I'm using is John Innes #1, good quality seed compost. Now I'm not going to sow a lot today, I'm just going to sow a few, because if you sow everything at the same time, then they'll all come to flower at the same time, and the display will be over rather quickly. So always sow things about 2 weeks apart. And now the seed, like I said, just drain that water off. And then just make a hole, go down as far as the knuckle, and then I like to plant 3 seeds per station. Just cover them with your bit of soil. There you go, 3 seeds. Because there was a study out a few years ago that said when seeds are planted together, they actually perform better than if you just sowed them as singles. And that's certainly something that I've noticed over the years. So just 3 per station, bit of soil on top, and then keep them well watered during the winter, but don't water them too much compared to if it was the summer, because they don't need that much. And then come back in a few months when they'll be up a few inches tall, and that's when I'll pinch them out to make them a lot bushier. And then we'll put these outside once the risk of frost has passed next spring.